If you still need to file your 2024 taxes, today is the day. It's the deadline for filers who were granted an extension in April. Here with more, we've got KKOS Lawyers founding partner, Mark Kohler. Mark, great to have you here in studio with us.
Thanks for having me.
I mean, I guess a happy deadline day to all who are trying to get their paperwork in. What do people need to know, though, if they still haven't filed?
Well, this is a huge day because 20 million Americans filed an extension and bought time. But then in today's economy, so many people are struggling financially and maybe can't pay. And so they think, well, if I don't file, I don't want to let the IRS know I owe. That's the worst thing you can do. The penalty is 10 times more for not filing than not paying. And a lot of people don't realize that. So it's better to just let the IRS know I owe you, but I can't pay. And then we work through options to deal with that.
Sure.
But today's a big deadline.
Let's work through those options as well here. And you were breaking down some of the penalties. We have those on screen for our viewers at home. But when you think about the options and making sure that you're working through all of the potential way forward for a lot of filers out there, what is the typical that you see most often, the mode, if you will?
You bet. There's so many different paths to take depending on your financial situation, but the most common is get filed. Even if today you're just not sure how much you owe, take your best estimate and file. Because again, that penalty for not filing is the worst. The IRS just wants you to know, when you go on that first date, you promise you're going to call them back. If you don't call you, that's when you get your car keyed. The IRS is not happy if you just leave them in the dark. They want to know what's going on.
Yeah.
You got a relationship there. And so anyway, but you want to get that tax return off, and then you can call the IRS and do a 30 to 60 day hold on collection. Say, hey, let me make a game plan.
Sure.
So I can call the IRS. Now, by the way, the major scam out there, the IRS will never call you or never email you. So people, if you ever get that call, just know it's a scam. But call the IRS, ask for 30 to 60 days, and then you can start talking about maybe an installment agreement and other avenues. And the installment agreement is not the end of the world. Get your tax returns filed, get on a payment plan, and then get back to living your dream and being more proactive so it doesn't happen again.
What are some of the biggest tax changes that you see filers anticipating for 2025 as well?
Well, we're in an election year where everything's up for grabs. So what I tell people is worry about your own economy. Don't worry about the bigger picture of who's making what promise for tax benefits. Just what is your plan? Are you out of debt? What are you doing as that side hustle to make a little extra money? Side hustle shouldn't be a burden. A side hustle is an opportunity for the American dream. 50 million Americans now have that little side gig, and it's so powerful.
And so with that in mind, and the amount of Americans that do have that side hustle, how much more complicated does that make the tax filing process for households?
Well, I don't know if I use the word complicated, but gives you more opportunities, because now we're getting more write-offs, which brings us to moving forward. For those that haven't filed, get in and file. But now we're turning in the corner into the most important time of the year, and that's year-end tax planning. Real accountants, this is when we're busy. So if you have that side hustle, we want to take advantage of a number of tax strategies before year-end, because come January, game over. That's the buzzer's December 31st. So let's get in some strategies before then.
You mentioned it's not the complications that it brings up in having a side hustle, but it's the opportunity because of the write-offs. What do you think is the most missed opportunity with regards to write-offs?
Oh my gosh, a side hustle, for so many people, they miss the boat that it's really a family business. It's an opportunity to bring the family together. Even if you're just driving Uber, maybe it's an online business, maybe you're selling a product, a service, you're trying to make ends meet. Turn it into a family affair where now the whole family knows what's going on. You're communicating about financial literacy, and the number one strategy is having that family board meeting, getting your family on the payroll. Instead of paying taxes and giving your kids money or supporting other family expenses that could actually be related to the business, we're now creating tax write-offs, tax-free income, the ability to build real wealth. It's so much opportunity missed there.
How can you put your company and your family on the company payroll without setting off any alarms by the IRS and passing the IRS sniff test?
Oh my gosh, it's not high risk. Think about the New York City deli, where they've got their kids working in the deli after school. The Oklahoma farm, where the kids are working on the farm. Back in Idaho, the kids are working on the potato farm. Or you're a realtor in LA and you've got your kids helping put signs in the yards of your open houses. Whatever you can to have your kids help out, you can pay kids under age 18, now up to 14,000 plus, and they don't even pay taxes. The kids don't pay taxes on their earned income. You don't have to withhold FICA. You don't have to issue a W-2. It's very, very common. It's not a high-risk issue, but families, they pay these higher tax rates and then they give their kids money. Let's get them in the business. Let's teach this American dream to our next generation.
Mark Kohler, KKOS Lawyers, founding partner here. Mark, thanks so much for joining us.
Thanks for having me.